There is great value in finding time to rest. It's easy to think that the time we spend resting or on a break from work, vacationing, sleeping, or participating in various forms of recreation and relaxation is wasted time, especially if we have a big project or deadline looming. But just like our bodies, our minds need regular sleep to stay healthy. Our creative projects and long-term goals require us to take a break every now and then in order to allow us the time and space to rejuvenate our vision and re-energize ourselves. I took a 2-week hiatus from my year-long quest to write 1,000,000 words, and I thought I'd share a little bit about that. Come along and I'll see you on the other side of the opening credits. Welcome to the Hiatus Show, a special episode of the 1,000,000 Words Project. I'm author, teacher, and creativity coach, and your host for this video series, Eric Sheridan Wyatt. 25 weeks ago, I set a challenge for myself to write 1,000,000 new words in 1 year, and in this video series, I explore the ups and downs of the 1,000,000 Words Project. And I share what I'm learning about myself and my creative life along the way. These videos help me reinforce what I'm learning internally, and I hope something I say along the way might encourage or inspire you, dear viewer, as you pursue your own creative passion or other big thing project that you've always wanted to accomplish. This week's video is a little different than most of the others I post. Usually, my 1,000,000 Words Project updates include raw data accounting for all the words I wrote during a week or two of the ongoing project, but this time, I'm covering 2 weeks where I intentionally did not count a single word. In fact, I made no plans. I had no short-term goals. I had zero expectations for myself for 2 entire glorious weeks. And let's talk about why. Smack dab in the middle of a marathon towards 1,000,000 words, I would decide to take 2 weeks off. Week 25 ended, and I was halfway through the project, and I was about 45,000 words ahead of the minimum pace to meet my overall target, so I was feeling pretty positive. I had met a number of personal goals, and I'd learned a lot. Plus, this was all happening in the last 2 weeks of December, so it was a good time to slow down, take a breath, and enjoy the Christmas and New Year's holiday timeframe. But if the project was going so well, if I was learning so much and writing so many words, why would I take a break? Why would I need a break? Wasn't a steady, relentless pace of a weekly self-accountability process exactly what I wanted and was craving? Yes, it was. However, I know the value of rest. It's no coincidence that diet, exercise, and mental health professionals all emphasize the need for a solid rest regimen as part of good health. It's not a weird happenstance that most major spiritual and religious practices include some instruction for a day of rest, a Sabbath, or a regular setting aside of the normal pursuit of life to pause and take stock of who you are in this great big creation. On a more practical level, I was reminded of a quote I used in one of these videos not that long ago. Writing a novel is like driving a car at night. You can only see as far as your headlights, but you can make the whole trip that way. But having made many 12-plus hour drives in my life, I know that driving a car all night can be exhausting. Yes, you can make a whole trip that way, but sometimes you need to pull over at a rest area, turn off the engine, and just relax. I knew I was ready for a break. I wanted a break from constantly counting my words. I wanted a break from structured days and planning my every move and replanning because something came up and I needed to pivot. I wanted to enjoy some downtime around my birthday and the year-end holidays, to enjoy some time with family and just decompress. I wanted to give myself some space to reassess the 1,000,000 Words Project and consider how to adjust things moving forward into the second half of the experiment. So in the couple of weeks leading up to the end of December, I decided it was a perfect time to unplug from the 1,000,000 Words process and just let myself have some downtime. I considered a few different scenarios, including a complete zero writing idea, which would have included zero email, zero journaling, zero social media, zero technology, really. And while I know there are some additional benefits to going on a technology fast, that wasn't what I decided to do at this halfway point. I will say, though, after this million words experiment is over, I'm considering an off-grid week or two, maybe even a whole month, to go completely zero electronics. And if that comes to pass, I'll let you know about it and how it goes. But anyway, what I eventually decided was pretty simple. There were no rules for the 2-week sabbatical. No complex set of guidelines. It was very, very simple. Do whatever I want to do. And simply do not plan anything in advance. And most specifically, do not count a single word. If I wanted to write some fiction, I was free to do that. Or if I wanted to write a chapter for a nonfiction book I've been planning, great. Go for it. I still wanted to journal almost every day, so I did that. But I didn't plan anything. I didn't count any words. I just let my days be my days. And honestly, if I was using the target guidelines of the Million Words Project and my daily life rhythm of the prior 6 months as some sort of guideline, in comparison, I accomplished a big bunch of nothing, or pretty close to it. And it was glorious. There had been weeks earlier in the Million Words Challenge when I anticipated taking some time off, and I worked around those by writing more in the week before or front-loading a week so I could have a 4-day weekend or whatever. And I have another trip coming up in a couple months, a 2-week road trip, and I'm hoping to be at least 2 weeks ahead of the pace when that trip comes around, so I can just take those 2 weeks and enjoy our vacation. The decision to take a true sabbatical was very different, and intentionally so. For 2 weeks, there were no targets and no expectations. For 2 weeks, when something unexpected popped up, I could shrug my shoulders and go with the flow because I didn't have to rearrange my schedule and try to reprioritize how I spend my time. For 2 weeks, I followed no path. All the things that help me be productive are great because at the end of most weeks, even the weeks that have gone horribly wrong, I have something to show for my time and effort. But all of those strategies for getting things done come with a price. They take time and energy and effort. And for 2 weeks, it was nice to just let life be life. Taking a break allowed me to recover from the fatigue of constant decision-making. It helped me see the big picture, not staying lost in the daily weeds. It gave me a new energy and focus, and I was renewed. As the first full week of January came around, I was ready to take on the second half of the Million Words Project. I was eager to get to it. I had big ideas, big plans, and big energy. To use the metaphor from before, I was done napping at the rest area. I sat up in my seat, readjusted the seat back, checked my mirrors, flipped on the headlights, and put the engine in drive. I was ready to hit the road and find my way, one turn at a time, to the final destination of 1 million words. Little did I know there was something lurking just beyond the horizon, just beyond the reach of my headlights. It was something I had not anticipated and had not factored into my vision for the second half of this project. There's a lot more to say, and I'll be addressing a lot of the things that I just mentioned in the upcoming weeks, and I hope you'll join me. It's a little bit of a teaser maybe to get you to come back. But as always, it would be helpful if you liked, subscribed, and shared these videos, especially if there's someone out there you think might find anything I'm talking about here to be useful. You can reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or other online outlets. The details of how to contact me are in the show notes, or you can visit ericssheridanwyatt.com for more information. Next episode, I will be back with some details on how the second half of the Million Words Project leapt off of the launching pad like a SpaceX rocket and almost immediately started sending red flashing warning lights that something catastrophic was about to happen. Well, okay, catastrophic is a little overly dramatic, but I will tell you, I had a week where I struggled, just to hit 13,000 words, and almost every epiphany and great idea that I had during my little sabbatical was almost immediately jettisoned because of outside unanticipated events. See, if you stick around to the end of the video, you get some of the hot gossip. Well, I'll see you next time. Happy writing.